Welcome back to the show. Well, your kids are probably wrapping up school right now, and many of you are going to be perhaps scrambling, right? How are the kids going to remain entertained throughout the entire summer? What kind of distractions can I present to them? And how do you keep your own schedule? You know what? I have none of those answers. But my next guest does. I'm joined by Natalie Syrmopoulos. She is a certified parent, coach, and educator. Welcome to the show, Natalie. Great to have you here. And I mean, you have, what, 3 girls of your own, right? So you know of what you speak here.
Yeah, I have 2 girls,
Okay.
and they're ready for school to be out. We're all kind of ready for school to be out and switch things up. But in order to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more simple, I've got some great tips for families.
Yeah, and I like the focus. You really are focusing more on the parents when it comes to these tips than you are on the kids, because it's really important that the parents think about their schedule first. Tell us about the importance of that to start things off here, Natalie.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the key starting points is set expectations, what you want to do based on your schedule. So it's kind of like the oxygen mask analogy. When you're on an airplane, you want to make sure that you take care of you first, and then only then can you really provide for your kids. And it's the same sort of thing. So work around your schedule. If you've got certain vacation time, if you've got big projects, work around that schedule. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I liked, when we brought up, some of those points and the calendar. I think a lot of us have, started to use technology, but I think when it comes to kids and making sure that we all see what the schedule looks like, do you recommend still using that big paper calendar?
100%. So
Yeah.
you definitely want to use a big visible calendar. And you know what? If you have some families that are very tech driven, or you're just in and out, if you got older kids, sometimes a Google calendar that's shared could
Okay.
also work. But a visual calendar is always really nice to have.
Let's talk routine, right? Because the routine
Yes.
can change dramatically, and I think a lot of parents are just like, it's a complete free-for-all. Go to bed when you want, wake up when you want. How important is it to set a summer routine up?
Yeah, it's pretty important. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, people want to have some freedom. It's summertime, enjoy, of course. But I wouldn't just have a free-for-all all the time, because it ends up creating a bit of anxiety for a lot of people involved, including the kids. So you want to make sure that when you're creating a routine, that you're involving your kids. What would they like to do? Do they want to hang out with their friends once a week? Do they want to be going out? Do they want to be on screens? Then co-create a routine that works well for you. And that kind of leads to my next tip, which is passing the responsibility baton, working together as a team, as a family. Okay. So
Okay.
if you've got chores that need to be done, okay, make sure that your kids are involved with that. Get them to start picking up some of the slack. And these are really life skills that you want to have your kids to start to learn. And it's important that we do that at a young age.
What about, I saw on there an allowance, and some parents do the allowance thing, some parents don't. Where do you stand on that? Do we reward our kids for doing that help around the house?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And my answer is it kind of depends.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we want to instill good intrinsic motivating values for our kids. And that comes from doing a great job or doing something well, something good for the team, being a good team player. And that comes from them just making a really good choice for the right reasons. Now, there might be some pushback, of course, and there's no harm in having allowances, absolutely. However, it is a very extrinsic motivation. And there's, again, nothing really wrong with that, because that's how the world works. Cause and effect, you go to work and then you get paid. But don't forget, our kids we're not just their parents, we're their substitute frontal lobe. So we got to help almost train their brain to work for things that are not necessarily going to get an extrinsic value. It's something that they want to do because it's the right thing to do.
Natalie, when do we begin those chores with the kids? Like, is there a recommended age? What types of chores would you recommend for different ages?
Yeah, well, you know what? It depends on the age. So yes, so younger kids can definitely still do chores. They want to do. Younger kids have more intrinsic motivation to help out. So you want to kind of take advantage of that and allow them to help out with little things. Now, it's not going to be maybe the perfect job, of course. They're still learning. But if they do little things around the house, they can clean up after themselves for sure. Older kids, middle-aged kids, you want to get them to help with cleaning out the dishwasher, maybe walking the dog, setting the table. Older kids get to chip in with making dinner.
Right, yeah, because, you know, sometimes that dishwasher, there's a force field around it and they can't even get the dishes in there. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's a real thing.
Yes.
Another recommendation that you have, Natalie, is, you know, instead of the reward being, you know, monetary or something like that, is letting them have some free time, right? And choosing what that free time looks like. Can you just expand on that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, how can we make this easy for parents? And free time, which could include screen time, it could include going out, all of those things. We want to not necessarily put limits on them. That we can say, listen, you can do all of these things as much as you'd like. However, you need to do all your must-dos first, and that includes some of the responsibilities, some of the chores that we co-create with our kids. So must-dos before can-dos is really important. Again, you'll get some pushback.
Right.
So as a parent, as not just the parent, but substitute frontal lobe, you could say, listen, we need balance and we need to work as a team. So of course you can have as much screen time playing on your video game, no problem. And you got to get a couple of things done to help out the team.
Very quickly, about 40 seconds left, quality time. What should that look like for parents?
Listen, if you're a working parent and it's tough to spend some time with your kids, I get it. And it's really important to build that connection with our kids. So quality connection time is really about the quality, not the quantity, okay? And give yourself permission to just be with the kids. Just hang out with them. Give yourself, if it's 10 minutes a day or if it's, 30 minutes a day, just give yourself some time to hang out with them. It's usually child-led. But find something that can work for both of you and just enjoy this. We only have 18 summers left with our kids, Derek, and not to put any pressure on parents, but just understand that we do have finite time with our kids. So let's take advantage of it when we can without going insane.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Great advice. Really appreciate it. We'll be right back after this.